Penguin Young Readers, Level 4, Anna Sewell's Black Beauty. My name is Black Beauty. The first place I remember was a large, pleasant meadow. I was too young to eat grass, so I lived on my mother's milk. There were other children colts in the meadow. I loved to run and play with them. You come from a fine family, my mother said. I hope you do your work well and never learn bad ways. One day, a pack of dogs raced across the field. Many men followed on horseback. They are hunting a rabbit, my mother explained. Suddenly, two horses stumbled. The riders fell head over heels to the ground. A beautiful black horse lay moaning on the grass. A doctor came. He shook his head. His leg is broken. Suddenly, a gun went off. Bang! Then all was still. The black horse didn't move. I knew that horse, my mother said quietly. His name was Rob Roy. That was all she said, but she never went to that part of the meadow again. In time, I grew quite handsome. My coat was shiny and black. I had one white foot and a pretty white star on my forehead. One day, Farmer Gray decided it was time to break me in. He talked gently and gave me oats. Then he put a bit into my mouth. I did not like the taste of it. Then next came the saddle. It was not so bad. I learned to wear a harness and a bridle with blinkers. Now I could see only straight ahead. Worst of all were the horseshoes. They made my feet feel stiff and heavy. Farmer Gray rode me around the meadow. How strange it felt, but I was proud to carry my master. My mother said, some men are not kind like our master. Some men are kind like our master, others are not. A horse never knows who will buy him. I had no idea then, but soon I would leave my first home. Squire Gordon bought me. Oh how Miss Gordon loved me, she said. He is such a beauty with his black coat and sweet face. Let's call him Black Beauty. John, the groom, stared at me. Why, he looks just like our old Rob Roy. Didn't you know, said Squire Gordon. They had the same mother. So, Rob Roy was my brother. No wonder my mom was so sad that day. Horses have no funny, I thought. At least not after the next day. One night I woke up with John calling. Wake up, Black Beauty. Miss Gordon is very sick. We must race to get the doctor. The air was frosty and the moon was bright. For 7 miles I ran like the wind. At last we reached the doctor's house in town. My son has taken my horse, the doctor told John. May I ride yours? John stroked my neck. He knew I was hot and tired, but at last he said, I guess there is no other way. So the doctor jumped into the saddle, and off we went. By the time I got home, I was covered with sweat. My legs were shaking. A young boy named Joe Green led me to the barn. Joe was new. He did not know what to do. Joe did not put my blanket on me. He gave me cold water. John would have given me something warm to drink. I lay down and tried to sleep. I could not stop shaking. I wished for John, but he had to walk all the way back from town. Just before John came, Beauty, he cried and ran to my side. He covered me with a warm blanket and made me something warm to drink. Even so, I was sick for a long time. Every day, young Joe Green came to see me. Poor Black Beauty, he said. Did you know you saved Miss Gordon's life? How glad I was to hear that. Joe Green worked hard to learn the right way to care for the horses. Soon I got better, but Miss Gordon was never the same. The doctor said she and Squire Gordon must move to must move to a warmer place. And so I was sold again. My new owner was an earl. He changed my name to Baron. On the first day, a horseman, Ginger, and I were hooked to a fine carriage. Soon the earl's wife stormed down the steps. "Pull those horses' heads higher," she shouted at the groom. The groom tightened my reins. Oh, how the cut bit my mouth. But Ginger would not stand for it. She began to fight and kick. The earl was so angry, he sent Ginger away. From then on, I worked alone. One weekend, a groom named Smith rode me into town on a business. It was dark when we headed home. He did not see that I had a loose shoe. Smith whipped me to go faster and faster. Then my floosh fell off. The rough stone cut into my hoof. Soon the pain was too much to bear, and I stumbled to my knees. Smith fell to the ground. The next day the doctor came. "This horse will be able to work," he said, "but he will always have those scars." The earl flew into a rage. "I will not keep a scarred horse in my stables." And so I was sold again. I was lucky. A man with kind eyes bought me. He did not care about the scars. The man's name was Jerry, and he decided to call me Jack. Jerry took me home to London. What a fancy big city it was. I had never seen so many horses and carriages or so many people. Jerry turned down a narrow street of poor-looking houses. Suddenly, a door flew open. Out ran his family to greet him. "What a beauty!" his wife cried. The children kissed me and petted me. I thought, I'm going to be happy at last. John owned a cab. Rich people in fine clothes paid us to drive them around. It was hard work at first. I was not used to the busy streets of London, but Jerry was a good driver. We made a fine team. "Good job, Jack," he would always say. Soon it was Christmas, but there was no holiday for us. We took some fine gentlemen to a party. It was bitter cold, and we had to wait and wait. At page 36 is where I'm going to stop.